Up again, party people. Welcome back to the Damsel in Success podcast. I am so excited to have you back here with me today. So today I want to talk about forgiveness. I know a lot of folks want to try to go into the new year, clean slate, want to forgive everybody. But we usually don't think about that until like 2 hours before midnight on New Year's Eve. And that's really, really hard to forgive a bunch of people in 2 hours. And then you just get mad just thinking about it, right? So I want to talk to you guys about that now, and that way you guys can have some time to kind of think about things and maybe make things right with other people. And that way you really can go into your new year with a fresh, clean slate, and you guys can all feel better about it. So forgiveness. The funny thing about forgiveness is that it's not for the other person. It's for you, okay? Because how often, have we found ourselves upset with somebody and they didn't even know. They didn't even know you were mad. Had no idea that they had even done anything wrong, or at least your perception of wrong. On the flip side of that, how many times have we been mad and that other person is glad that we're mad? Or they don't care that we're mad? I mean, that happens, right? So that just proves that you being upset really has no bearing on that other person. But you were sitting here in agony, just mad and upset and just tearing yourself up because of what this other person has done. We've talked about this before. The only thing that we can control, y'all, is our own actions. We can't control those other people. We can't make them act right. As much as we may like to, we can't make other people act right. It just cannot happen. We're only in control of how that we react to other people's actions. And I'm not saying being mad is wrong. I'm not saying that being upset or sad or hurt or anything like that is wrong. That's a natural emotion. That's a natural reaction. It's okay. Let it happen. Let it be. And then you have to forgive them. Whether they deserve it or not, it's not for them. It is for you. They always say being mad at somebody is like, drinking poison and expecting them to die. It's not ever going to happen, but it's going to kill you, okay? You're only hurting yourself by holding on to that grudge, holding on to that resentment, holding on to that hurt and that pain that other person put on you. That's not, don't do that to yourself. No one deserves that kind of power over your life. And you are the only one capable of freeing yourself, because, sometimes they're not sorry and sometimes they are, but we still hold on to that hurt. And that just proves again that we are the only ones in control of that. And we have to forgive them, not for them, but for ourselves. Because I don't know about y'all, but I've messed up before. And I have needed forgiveness. And, it's been hard for other people to forgive me. I know that. And I am eternally grateful for those that have. And, with that being said, whenever somebody is truly sorry and, you're holding on to that hurt, we have to remember, we've talked about this before too, that you can't go back and change something. And once it's happened, it's happened. Once it's done, it's done. And if they're truly sorry, forgive them. If they're just saying sorry so that you'll forgive them long enough for them to go run off and do whatever they've done to hurt you again, that's not them being sorry. You have to forgive them still, and then you have to get yourself out of that situation, because again, we are only in control of our own actions. We cannot control the actions of others, okay? And, we holding on to that hurt and that pain, we have to remember too that we are not put on this earth to judge everybody and figure out who's wrong and who's horrible and who's going to heaven and hell. That's not our job to do. We are here to love one another, as hard as that may be sometimes, and we're here to forgive one another, as hard as that also may be sometimes. Because, I don't know about y'all, but, Jesus died on that cross for every one of my sins. He forgave me, and there's nothing I could ever do to deserve that kind of forgiveness, ever. And to think that, he went above and beyond that to forgive me, and you can't forgive this person who is just a human, just a human full of flaws that makes mistakes. Don't give me that. I'm not going to listen to it. No. You can forgive them. It hurts sometimes. But I promise you, the other side of that forgiveness is amazing. It's free. And you will feel so much better. It sucks sometimes to get through it. It sucks sometimes, and sometimes you just got to cry it out and scream it out and get it out of your system. But once you are truly able to look at whoever hurts you, no matter what they've done, and say, I know you're not sorry, but I forgive you, and you're able to move on, that, my friends, is freedom. That's true freedom. And it's yours. It's yours for the taking. You just got to do it. Because I know every one of us has needed forgiveness at some point. And, you know, there's some things that we as humans see as worse than others, but to God, every sin is exactly the same. And, you know, it's all just that. It's all a sin. And as hard as this may be to realize, I've had to bring this on myself, as there's people that I look at and I'm like, ugh, they just, ugh, you know, it's just awful. But I have to remember, God loves them just as much as He loves me. Who am I to have this much hate in my heart for one of God's children? Because no matter how horrible that they've treated me, no matter how horrible that I think that they are, that is still God's children. That's it. Every one of us are. And who are we to cast that judgment? They will have their day to answer for whatever that they have done or not done or whatever. But that's not for us to decide. That's not for us to hold against them. We are still to love them as Christ loved the church. We are still to forgive them because, one, it's not for them. It's for us. And even though they don't deserve it, you do. And it's not our job to sit down here and play Judge Judy on everybody and figure out who's going to heaven and who's going to hell. It's not our job. We are here and we are responsible for our own actions. We are responsible how we treat others, not how we're treated. We are responsible for our reactions to how that we are treated. So, I want you guys to think about that. It's a difficult subject. It's a lot easier said than done. I know it. But if you work on it diligently and you just think about that and you try really, really hard, you can have that freedom because you are the only one in control of it. So I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your Tuesday night, and I look forward to talking with you again soon.